Freedom of Information Act. FOIA. BZWATCHDOG News Network.
Hey Watchdogs, welcome back to the BZWATCHDOG News Network, where sunlight is still and will always be the best disinfectant, and qualified immunity is that expired coupon bad cops keep trying to use at the accountability counter. In today's menu, a fresh flight of bad apples who apparently mistook the Constitution for a suggestion box. First up, an officer out of Englewood, Colorado, who decided policy was optional. And right after that, we're taking a quick trip back to the great state of Texas. San Antonio, you're on deck, because the few bad apples myth keeps turning into a whole orchard tour. Before we dig into this bad apple report, do the things that make tyrants itchy. Smash that like button, drop a comment for the algorithm goblins, share this everywhere your aunt, your neighbor, and your city manager can see it, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. All right, gloves on, receipts loaded. Let's get back to work.
Exactly what happens in a very clear sense here. The body camera video shows the traffic stop that was made by this former officer. His name is Ryan Vasina. The driver pulled over for allegedly running a stop sign at that time. There's a clear language barrier between the two, and the driver doesn't immediately get out of the car. So Vasina uses his taser and pulls the driver out of the car. Then he places the driver in a chokehold for some 12 seconds. Experts say the incident should never have come to that.
Never a good idea to get in an argument out there. It's much better to plead your case in court if you feel you've been mistreated. You also have a right to ask the officer for his badge number.
The Englewood police chief said that Vasina's actions that night were not warranted. He called the episode a stain on the profession. As we said, Vasina has been terminated, not working here any longer here in Englewood, and he's facing these serious charges. One is an assault charge, that's a felony, and also another charge of official misconduct. Serious stuff down there happening in the Englewood Police Department.
From the moment Englewood's police chief saw video of this traffic stop one of his officers made, he says he knew the officer had used excessive force.
This type of conduct is a stain on the profession and is not reflective of the Englewood Police Department or the people who serve our community with honor.
The Englewood officer made the stop on October 8th around 11 o'clock at night after the driver was allegedly seen failing to stop at a sign near South Layton and South Lincoln Street. Investigators said there were language barriers.
Tengo licencia? No, you.
Body cameras showed the encounter escalating.
Oh, get out. Pero, levántense now. ¿Por qué me trata así? No, we're not going to play this. Hey. Get out of the car. Hey.
The 18th Judicial District DA and Englewood's police chief said excessive force was used, including the use of a taser.
Hey. Taser. I'm going to tase you.
The officer can then be seen pulling the 20-year-old driver from his car. The DA said the officer, Ryan Scott Vasina, then used an illegal chokehold that lasted 12 seconds.
The driver did not resist, fight, or fail to comply with any lawful order before force was used against him.
My neck. Your neck? I'll check. Let's see.
Carlos Jose Rangel Rincones filed a complaint a day after the stop.
No, pistola. I am good boy.
This picture showing injuries. Englewood's police chief says his officers are trained to de-escalate situations.
You disregarded every command I gave you. No sé inglés, no sé inglés.
The chief saying that clearly did not happen in this case. The DA said the officer was terminated and is now facing assault and official misconduct charges.
All right, Watchdogs. Quick pit stop in Englewood, Colorado, where Officer Neck Encirclement is totally fine, right? Learn the hard way that the law isn't a choose-your-own adventure. Prosecutors watched the body cam, saw the taser pop, saw the chokehold, and said, yeah, no. The driver's charges dropped, as in gone poof, because not understanding an angry officer isn't a crime. Shocking. Meanwhile, the district attorney came in swinging. Second-degree assault, first-degree official misconduct, third-degree assault. Translation: when you use force where there's no resistance, no threat, and no lawful reason, consequences show up with the paperwork. The chief even said this doesn't reflect the department's values because apparently don't choke people is now a value we have to say out loud. Bottom line, it is finally becoming normal to charge officers when they commit crimes against the public. Accountability isn't anti-police. It's pro-Constitution. Now pack your bags. We're heading to Texas. San Antonio Police Officer Richard Boyle, congratulations. You're up next on the Bad Apple Report.
Coming into our newsroom just a little over an hour ago, a San Antonio police officer is facing charges tonight. SAPD says Officer Richard Boyle turned himself into the Bexar County Sheriff's Office on a warrant for unlawful installation of a tracking device. We are still working to get more answers on what led up to his arrest. What we do know right now is that Boyle is a 24-year veteran of SAPD.
All right, watchdogs. Let's talk Officer Richard Boyle out of San Antonio, Texas. 24 years on the job. At that point, most folks get the cake, take the pitch and selfie, and disappear into fishing boat Instagram. But not Boyle. Nope. He decided to speedrun How to Torch a Legacy on hard mode. Instead of retiring and letting the stress go, our guy allegedly went full DIY spy movie, tracking devices and all, because nothing says healthy boundaries like turning your relationship drama into a side quest for the Bexar County docket. Look, I don't know who needs to hear this, but love and ego will make you do crazy things. Only one of those should ever involve electronics under a bumper. Now, per public info at the time of this recording, his TCO license still shows active. Should it be suspended while he's facing charges? In a world that makes sense, yeah. In the real world, updates lag and policies do the bureaucratic two-step. So it may change. We'll keep watching. And before the, but what about his past, crowd chimes in, I dug around and didn't see prior headlines on him. I also haven't gotten his disciplinary jacket back yet. TPIA elves are slow this season, but we'll pry it loose. Bottom line, this might be an apple that's spoiled by hanging around too long in a poison orchard. A quarter century of policing in a department with its own history, that environment can marinate the best intentions into terrible decisions, especially when pride puts on the badge. And that wraps this Bad Apple Report. If you want to help keep the sunlight blasting, consider becoming a channel member. Grab some merch or drop a donation. Links are down below. And before you go, make the tyrants itchy. Smash that like button. Drop a comment. Share this everywhere. And subscribe with notifications on. I'm your boy BZWATCHDOG. Sunlight is still the best disinfectant. And I'll see you in the next video.
Freedom of Information Act. FOIA. BZ Watchdog News Network.